Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. As a child, have you ever wondered that giants are powerful? Or have you ever wondered that giants can actually be invincible? Good morning once again, ladies and gentlemen. We are the Hong Kong U team. I am Alice, this is Johnny, Dania, and Ka. We're here to present to you the modern journey to the West, and we'll be telling you how the Lenovo giant, which has its background rooted in China, can be actually be a very powerful and invincible giant. Let us now first look at the situation analysis. We've identified 4 strengths of Lenovo. The first is that Lenovo has a very strong Chinese heritage. Second, it has a low-cost manufacturing capability in terms of inventory and supply chain management. Thirdly, it has strong distribution networks. And fourthly, it has a very strong leadership and anchors in the company. However, even though giants are powerful, they, as Lenovo currently is not invincible. Therefore, we have identified that the Achilles heel of Lenovo is that it has a lack of a global brand, and this we will tell you how to solve. We have 2 recommendations, part 1 and part 2. So for part 1, we have the strategy, which is the Lenovo 4-in-all. It leverages on innovation, design, product, functionality, and leverages on the 4-screen concept, which we will sell 4 screens, but then the main point will be on PCs and smartphones. We will adopt the mass market distribution via existing and online channels and through acquisition. And the focus and the target markets for this proposal would be the BRIC region, the emerging markets. Next, please. The second part of a recommendation proposal is termed as Think Global. So this is directly it can directly solve the Achilles heel problem of the lack of global brand. So for the Think brand, we will open up Think stores, enhance Think experience, and have annual exhibitions, which my teammates will further elaborate. As for the Lenovo brand, we will portray the Lenovo as the Chinese global brand, and we will offer student discounts and sponsor TV programs such as The Voice, which is a very popular singing contest in China. And similar to the part 1 proposal, it will also be focused on the BRIC region's emerging markets. Our target outcome for these 2 proposals would be, first, to achieve an annual growth rate of 40%, and second, to elevate the position to become one of the top 100 global brands in the world. I'll now pass the time to Dania.
Thank you, Alice. So before going into our Lenovo for All strategy, I would like to look into the current performance of Lenovo. Currently, 90% of Lenovo business comes from the PC or notebook products. In 2011, Lenovo also introduced the MIDH, that is the 4-screen product strategy, including PC, smartphone, TV, and also laptops. However, given the very strong other competitors in the smartphone industry, Lenovo's smartphone sales has been insignificant. Identify the external market environment, which is the changing competitive dynamics, the uprising demand for high technology, and also smartphone becoming almost a necessity for every consumer. We are going to rely on the emerging market potential. Basing on a strong PC manufacturer and with our global presence, Lenovo is now going to present to you our new strategy, Lenovo for All. What do you mean by 4? By 4, we are going to give you the 4-screen products. That is, again, the PC, the smartphone, the TV, and also the laptops. However, originally, despite the high technology and strong player in some of the industry, they are individual products. In our new strategy, we are going to connect all 4 of them together to enhance our user experience for all 4 of them. We understand that in some of the industries, such as the smartphone industry, Lenovo has not been a very strong player. However, we are going to rely on a strong technology and market position in our PC industry to appeal to our current PC customers to purchase the other 3 products. By this, they can enjoy a very comprehensive user experience and enjoy the convenient products. Imagine, you can use your smartphone on the street to choose your favorite movies or TV programs, and after stepping back into your home, you can watch them on your TV or your computer by using your smartphone as the remote control. Lenovo believes that by connecting technology, we also connect Lenovo and our people. And going on to the strategy name, Lenovo for All. What do we mean by all? By all, we mean all people, all countries, all distribution channels, and all products. First of all, I will elaborate on people. Currently, our market segment is focusing on the enterprise and corporate business. However, Lenovo is going to expand our target customer segment also to household. That is, to give our household consumers a very enhanced technology home experience that is illustrated by me just now. For all countries, we would like to say that we would like to avoid entering the developed market because of the very strong competition in those markets, and also the lack of branding, which will be elaborated by my teammate later. Alternatively, we are going to tap into the emerging markets. Currently, Lenovo has its business presence in Russia, India, and China. Apart from introducing our strategy into these 3 emerging markets, we are also going to enter Brazil. Given the very strong potential in Brazil by the World Cup and also the Olympics in the coming 4 years, we identified the potential demand in this country and also the rising GDP and income level of all emerging markets. What is our strategy in introducing our new Lenovo for all? First, we are going to utilize the low-cost manufacturing facility in China, especially the manufacturing facility established in Wuhan in 2012. After our fundamental manufacturing, we are also going to use the established exporting means, that is, our current PC carriers. This is going to reduce our cost by economies of scale, as apart from exporting PC, we are also going to export our smartphone produced in China. Ultimately, we are going to do the assembling and technology add-on in a foreign facility. That is because they can provide with a local taste and local knowledge on this industry. Apart from the exporting means, we are going to lay out some acquisition plans. Firstly, to acquire domestic TV manufacturer. This is because some of the customers in our emerging markets may have been using some domestic player in their market. Instead of introducing a very new TV manufacturer by Lenovo, we are going to utilize the local brand awareness of the domestic player, such that they are more willing to buy the TV from the players that they have been currently buying from. Also, this TV manufacturer has established technology, and lastly, they have local knowledge which can help us with our promotion and marketing. Lastly, we are also going to acquire some local manufacturers throughout the process to increase our facility. Our objective of acquisition is not to eliminate competitors, but to leverage on the brand and our products. Lastly, we are also going to enhance our distribution channel, which is one of our strengths of Lenovo. Apart from the direct channels as local dealers, city malls, and retail stores, we are also going to further enhance our eCity online platform. We would like to emphasize that we are going to utilize our current strength on existing channel and focus our resources on R&D to lay out our newer strategy. Now, I'll pass over to Carl for another part 2 of the strategy.
Thank you, Donya. So now we'll move on to the second part of our strategies, which is Think Global. Currently, Lenovo has been suffering from a brand recognition problem, as despite selling a lot of computers, has trouble making people know that Lenovo as a brand and also Lenovo as a good brand. So in order to achieve our objective to be a top 100 global brand, we have separate, and also with the strategy of Lenovo to separate Think and Lenovo brand in the beginning of 2013, we are thinking of marketing Think brand and the Lenovo brand separately. The Think brand, which is adopted from IBM, is known for its quality, its durability, and also its performance. That's why it's highly used in the business area. And we're going to emphasize this brand's experience. So beyond the product itself, we want to distribute and also to promote our brand as a Think experience. For Lenovo, we want to market this brand as a Chinese global brand. Currently, I think many Chinese know Lenovo as a brand, but they don't think that it's a Chinese brand or they don't feel proud of it. So we want to make sure that they know our brand as a Chinese global brand by using some exposure strategies. So firstly, look at the Think side of the problem. So firstly, we'll introduce Think stores. Within our established economies, we can introduce Think stores that sells Think products not by itself, but by an experience. We want to change the customer perception of Think products of its boring image. we want to change it to a high-end, a very user-friendly, a very strong functionality products, as well as being very luxurious, so that people will love to use Think brand's products. Secondly, we want to emphasize that Think has to keep innovating, to make sure that it's known as a globally a recognized brand of a good technology brand. It has to participate and also to hold more annual exhibition of their innovation every year. And also to gain quality assurance such as ISO to ensure the quality of a Chinese brand. It's also enhance our brand as a global brand. And secondly, look at the Lenovo part of the strategy. Currently, Lenovo, as I've mentioned, is a very strong brand as a technology brand. But we want to market it as a very strong Chinese technology brand. So we'll use social media to market it as to make our Chinese citizens proud and to recognize our brand as a strong brand. By letting them, through the social media, to know and to be aware of our products winning awards outside of China, so that they will be proud to bring their laptops and cell phones outside of the country, that they will know that these brands, these products will be recognized by foreigners, that they are good products. Secondly, exposure. We believe that to target and to capture the customer's market, we have to start from young. So we'll promote our products in campuses to promote more student discount, so that we can get the first mover advantage in the new generation, to make our new generation start using our products at a young age. Secondly, we'll fund more younger spokesperson, currently, which is a strategy that's not used by IBM or previous used by IBM or used by Lenovo. So we'll find a young spokesperson to make our customers and our audience to know that Lenovo is a very strong brand, has a very young image, to further capture more younger generation customers. And thirdly, to sponsor TV programs. This is very important, as we know TV programs are very wildly accepted by Chinese audience. So to sponsor like as popular singing competition like The Voice, which is like American Got Talents in the States, or sponsoring Chunwan as a Chinese New Year annual show, which has the highest hit rate and view rate of the year, we can gain our brand's image within the Chinese citizens and to expose our brands within the Chinese population. So after implementing these strategies, we hope that we'll become a global brand that can compete with other Chinese brands such as Huawei and Acer. We can surpass them, and to make sure that we as a brand can compete with brands such as Samsung and Apple, these global brands. When people choose our products, they will choose our products over these Chinese brands and these global brands because we have marketed our brand image, so that we can sell more and that we can sell at a higher price. That will contribute to our revenue growth in the future. So now I'll pass on to Johnny to talk about our implementation timeline. Thank you.
Thank you, Carl. So ladies and gentlemen, we now come to the implementation timeline for our project on the whole. So this time implementation timeline will be divided into three parts. As you can tell from very top of the upper part of this presentation slide, is that for the first phase, it will be Think Global. We'll be implementing it in 2014 and make sure we have R&D, different kinds of research projects starting from 2013. Think Global, just as I mentioned, will also start targeting at the BRICS countries, Brazil, India, and many different other countries. And we also want to emphasize the key point of Think experience. We want to ensure that our customers will recognize Lenovo as a premium brand that will bring them extraordinary functionality as well as the extraordinary experience when they really try our products. So the second phase, Lenovo for All, just mentioned by Donier, that will be implemented in 2 years, 2015 and 2016 respectively. For 2015, we'll start in China because we want to try to make sure that actually Lenovo for All, that is the TV, laptop, desktop, as well as mobile phones, will be actually perceived as a kind of coordinated network or say coordinated experience by the customers. So we want to try it first in China. After this is successful, we also will have an overall review. We are carrying on going forward to 2016, and we make sure that's kind of Lenovo for All project can be carried forward to other countries, just mentioned, but BRIC countries, Brazil, India, and etc. And the last very phase for our project is very important, is the Think for All. So you can carry this that Think Global and Lenovo for All is putting these two projects, the idea together, Think for All. So that means that actually we notifying this that there's a maybe very high growing consumer power, or say purchasing power among these kind of emerging markets, such as BRIC countries. So we want to say that after we implement the Lenovo for all, the four core components together, whether we can make a little bit higher, we also target at a higher segment, that is the thin computers, or the thin PC, or the thin mobile phones, and whether to successfully implement it in also the BRIC countries. So Lenovo for all will have a very successful implications for the thing for all in 2017. And this, of course, we have a very final review for all the 3 stages of project in 2017 at the very far end beginning. Also important to notice that we have made sure that we will, throughout the 5 years, will have active acquisitions. These acquisition targets have no specific targets or say specific products, TV or mobile phones. We don't have. We just want to make sure that actually we locate only the best local companies that have the strongest distribution network, that have the strongest customer base, as well as a different kind of extensive distribution networks that can make sure that we can sell, distribute, and market that kind of experience to our customers. That's the key. And we also want to make sure, as mentioned by Carl, will be the thing exhibitions. Each year, 2013 all the way up to 2017, we encourage different kinds of ideas. We encourage different kinds of entrepreneurs. We invite different kinds of engineers to come up with the brilliant and extraordinary projects or products for us. It could be TV, it could be mobile phone, it could be PC computers. It just depends on how big and how during the imagination will be. So this will be our implementation timeline. Very quick, go through the risk. And there's certain kind of risk that we can foresee, certainly, of course. The one very risk that we can identify is the uncertainty of new entry markets. Ladies and gentlemen, we know that you have many concerns about whether we are that kind of comfortable entering into the BRIC countries, maybe mentioned by the cultural difference, maybe mentioned by the kind of, they're not that kind of comfortable with the foreign products. So we actually, the 2 parts of solutions that we can come up with. One is we make use of Brazil's existing network, and the second one is a very active and careful acquisitions. The second one is the incubation barriers. You may mention that actually when we acquire the companies, they may have different kinds of managerial culture conflicts. We may have different kind of working cultural conflicts. But this kind of deal that with the prior experience, because we are so good at the acquisitions that we have done in Asia, in South America, that we have done so many before. We carry out through a deep understanding as well as different kind of leadership bringing about extraordinary senior management. The third one is the high cost of thing concept. This can be very easily solvable, or say this will not be a problem, because for a thing product, we are really talking at a very high profit margin. We're talking about like 30 to 40%. So this should justify our costs that have been paid out. So for the very last part, we'd like to draw back on a very lovely character that's mentioned in the introduction by Alice. Alice, please.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we have presented to you a plan on how to make the China Lenovo giant invincible. This is the current Lenovo giant. And after our plan, we can see that our giant has a globe in its hand. So this echoes our idea of thinking global and Lenovo for all. Thank you very much.
The 4 products, so you've got desktop, laptop, TV, smartphone. Did you consider having a tablet within that?
Actually, for the tablet, currently we are also doing the laptop. We have the technology of going to the tablet because we are currently a very strong player in the PC, and in the PC we have strong technology. We can make we are a very efficient player, effective and efficient player in the PC, and thus by minimizing the size of the PC, we can transfer the technology from a very huge PC desktop into a laptop, and thus by this experience before, we are confident that we can also transfer this kind of high technology from a laptop also to a tablet.
But within your plan, at what stage were you considering moving? Were you going to replace one of the PCs or laptops into a tablet, or were you going to add a tablet, and at what stage were you going to do that?
I think for currently, at least for the before we launch the Think for All products, we are not going to go for this strategy because, as we have mentioned, we are not a very strong player in smartphone, and we also identify this weakness of Lenovo, and thus we would like to focus our resources mainly on connecting all the 4 all the 4 devices together to give a comprehensive experience instead of launching a new product. Because currently the competition for the tablet is also very strong, and we would like to avoid our weakness, but to go over to focus more on our strength, that is our technology on PC and connecting all the 4 of them together. So in a short term, we are not going to launch a tablet.
Okay. And in terms of target market, so the BRIC countries are geographically where you'll be aiming. What type of client within those countries will you be targeting?
Because we are currently launching the Lenovo for all, and for Lenovo we are targeting at the low-end market instead of the high-end, because the high-end is for the Think for all. So for Lenovo, we are currently at the low-end market in the BRIC countries. So mainly for household experience, because for enterprises we already have the PC industry for them. So this is a comprehensive household experience. So this would be for young generation and also for household. That would be our main target customers at the low-end level.
I really would like to compliment you on your very professional and very well presented presentation of the problem and also your recommendation. And probably I would have hoped, or I had expected a little bit more from the financial analysis from your whole presentation. But one question, I think a lot of your proposition focus on branding, which you build out a very coherent argument. I'd like to tease a little bit more. When you said that the challenge for Lenovo is to grow from a Chinese brand to a global brand, and you set out quite a lot of strategy and plans on how to go global by events or activities. But I'd like to ask you, how do you define global? What is exactly the brand value? When you say this brand needs to go from a US brand or a Jewish brand to a Chinese brand to a global brand, what is the component, the characteristics you think will make Lenovo to go from a Chinese brand to global?
I think to answer your question, it comes in a few parts. Firstly, we have actually prepared some financial information. Johnny has prepared some of them, and if you want to know, he can elaborate later. And secondly, to address the branding issue, how do we define success of branding of our brand? Well, firstly, as mentioned in the case and mentioned by the CEO, that actually a good brand of a computer can mark up the price of the computer by $50. So imagine every computer sells $50 US dollars more. Then it's a very large contribution to our revenue. And this is our aim. We want to price our products up not only by product features, but just by the brand itself, so that we don't have to incur a lot of costs to invest to R&D to make the product better. But just by making the brand better, we can already make our brand more recognized and to be more profitable. And secondly, for the recognition of brand, currently we have a growth of 86% of brand recognition in our key markets such as Russia, India, Japan, the States, Germany. We hope that with our strategies we can improve this 86% number to 100% or even over 100% every year, so that we can get more people to understand our brand. I'm sure there are many other methods to measure our success, which is such as the Forbes 500 or the brand, global brand image of every year. That's like the one that will rank the global brands every year to see that, for example, Coca-Cola is the best brand every year. But we can catch up in this branding ranking and to make sure that we're entered into this globally recognized branding ranking. Yeah.
So in other words, your definition of global brand equates with recognition.
Recognition and profitability.
Maybe I'll supplement on what Carl said, because what we're talking about, like being global, is actually nothing if we cannot really measure our success or measure how far we've gone. So we believe that 2 yardsticks which are very important to measure how global we have gone would be, first is how widespread that we have the Lenovo brand in different countries. For example, if we have now decided to go to Brazil, so for example, if we are going to Brazil, then this would be one step forward, an achievement that we have one more country on our list that has our Lenovo and Think brand. So this is one. And the second would be the brand awareness among people. So that means like because we will conduct reviews in 2016-17, so that means that we will maybe have research and surveys to ask our customers among the country, like how familiar they are with our brand, or that can our brand really penetrate into their households and in their understanding.
Martin?
Please.
Okay.
You did mention in your presentation just there that you focus on branding and that would eventually lead to increased profitability by marking up the price. However, your client segment was the low-end client segment, so would you lose the clients that you aim to acquire by marking up the price? Would your product no longer become affordable?
Yes, thank you, sir. Sir. Regarding your question, actually, that's why we divided into two parts, right? For the first part, that we're targeting at you may call the low-end segments. That will be the Lenovo for all. That will make sure that actually we have the PC, we have the table, to the TV set. So we have that kind of 4-in-1 with that kind of experience. So targeting at a high-end premium that mentioned by Carl, actually he's referring to the Think Global, the whole concept of Think Global, how we really tackling rather than the low-end segment, but also all the kind of, I would say the middle age group, or say the middle segment income group. So we also target the thing. So after, we say that after the Lenovo for all, or say the Think Global, we can also do one more project. It's binding them together, the concept binding together, targeting the BRIC countries because they have very growing affluent people. It's enormous kind of skyrocketing national income. So we also say that after the Lenovo 4, and then we can add the concept of Think Global to the Lenovo. So it will be it will be the kind of Think Global as well as for the certain kind of low income or to medium income as well. So this kind of project will be conducted phase by phase. So we will conduct this event in such a long-term plan.
So in short, we'll make sure that both our high-end and low-end customers will be served with the different brands.
My turn. I think my learned colleagues have been very, very nice to you. Part 2, I don't even want to talk about because to me it looks very copycat. Sponsor TV being done. Think Store, iStore's beating you to it. Annual exhibition, Apple's beating you to it. Google's beating you to it. And you're leveraging on the Think, which is the IBM brand, which is an old school brand, right? We all know what IBM is. We all grew up with IBM. They made big computers that you put cards in. Your up and coming market may not necessarily know what or who IBM are. So I'll leave part 2 alone after I've ripped it apart, sorry. Going back to your core solution in part 1, it still hinges around the PC. Right, so the PC is kind of the base for the other parts, which to me feels like a very safe solution. That's just more of the same. That's more of what we're doing today. And the question begs, are we doing that because we want it, or are we doing that because that's what the customers want? So do the customers still want the PC as the core of the solution? And did you take that into account when you designed your part 1?
I think for our part 1, because our main objective for leveraging Lenovo would be to identify our weakness and to pursue our strength. And thus, sometimes, as I have mentioned, because we are a very weak player in smartphone, and maybe 20 years later, we are the top smartphone manufacturer. However, currently, to achieve that ultimate goal, we have to first start with PC. And thus, and also we identify that this is indeed the current trend in the market, that people want technology to connect themselves and also to connect them with other people. And thus, we believe that this high advanced technology would be what our customers want, and also it would be our first stepping stone to achieve our ultimate goal for Lenovo.
So the goal is to start with PC, but then leverage away from that,
Yes.
depending on what the market's.
Yes.
Okay. And if you're going to push into emerging markets with what is essentially now an unknown brand, because we know it's not in the top 100, and we're painful about that. So you're going into an emerging market with an emerging brand and emerging product. does that not constitute a fairly significant risk?
Because for our strong PC brand, actually there are already brand awareness in this brick product, as we have already presence in Russia, India, and also China, and Brazil being a new country. And also to avoid the risk, we are going to apply some local domestic manufacturers such as TV producers and perhaps some of the smartphone manufacturing, because as I've mentioned, for some customers, for example in Brazil, they may view it as a very strange or very new entrant into the market, being a unknown TV manufacturer and new TV, because they may not have heard of Lenovo manufacturing TV. However, by acquiring all those domestic and already present player in those countries, the customer will have the confidence that actually they are still buying from the same company, but with other strong support from technology from a global brand Lenovo, and that still will reduce the risk of a new brand entering a new country.
Would that water down your brand though? Let's say you bought, you know, Acme TVs in Russia because that was a well-known name in Russia. So now are people thinking Acme? Are they thinking Lenovo? Are they thinking Are you watering down your brand by buying those well-known local brands?
I think this would not be so, because, for example, when Lenovo acquired IBM in the global, because we have mentioned that the Chinese brand awareness in the global industry is very weak. However, Lenovo is still doing good in global because they identified that the acquisition of IBM actually put IBM's strength into Lenovo, and thus Lenovo is very successful after the acquisition. And similarly, after they apply the domestic player, we are going to, about our experience, we are going to leverage on the strength of the domestic player and not to neglect all that they have done in that in that country. And we are going to transfer that with our great technology in PC and to combine them and to connect everything.
I would like to say thank you for using pictures. I don't know. I get a bit tired of just words and words and words. It was really nice to see some pictures for a change, and also congratulations on putting up risks. You were the only team that did that. So that's an important thing.
Thank you very much. Thank you.